This is an audio description of a portrait depicting Sir James Caird by the artist David Foggie, painted around 1928. In front of us is a sizable portrait in a very chunky dark gold frame, around 3 feet by 4 feet, giving its subject an imposing appearance. Dominating the painting is the figure of James Caird, an elderly-looking man of solid build with white hair, a short white beard and a very fulsome white moustache. The background behind him is entirely plain, very dark brown, almost black, but with the shades of brown varying in places to make it not entirely uniform. Unusually, the figure is placed on the right-hand side of the painting, looking over to the left. We only see his top half, so we can't tell if he's standing or sitting, but beside him is a small table or desk. We can only see a corner of it. On top of this are 3 books, one of them sitting open, and it's this open book that Caird is studying. In his right hand, on our left, he's holding what looks like a pair of pince-nez, small wire-framed spectacles that perch on the end of the nose. We can't see what's in the book, whether it's just text or whether he's studying diagrams in it and using the pince-nez to magnify them. Either way, the portrait gives us the impression that this is a man of learning. And he's obviously quite well to do, the pince-nez tell us that for a start, and he's wearing a thick, well-made 3-piece suit with a wing collar, shirt and tie, every inch the gentleman. And Caird certainly was well-to-do. In fact, he was probably a millionaire. Caird, or to give him his full name, Sir James Caird, LLD, 1st Baronet of Belmont Castle, lived from 1837 to 1916, thus encompassing the whole of the Victorian and Edwardian eras. Born in Dundee, he inherited his father's textile business at Ashton Works in the Blackness area, founded in 1832, which is one of the first Dundee mills to move into jute production. The company was already a thriving business when James took it over in 1870, and he proceeded to rebuild, modernise and expand the factory, and take over another company, Craigie Works, as well. From this, and from the hard labour of the many thousands of people who toiled away in unpleasant conditions in his mills, Caird made a fortune. Caird's personal life was not so successful. He had an unhappy marriage to Sophie Gray, sister-in-law of the famous Pre-Raphaelite painter John Everett Millais, and she died young at the age of 38. Their only child, Beatrix, died 4 years later, aged just 14. With no family to lavish his wealth upon, Caird began to spend his money on various philanthropic causes. His love of science and exploration led him to help fund Flinders Petrie's archaeological excavations in Egypt, and Ernest Shackleton's celebrated transantarctic expedition. In Dundee, he's most famous for gifting the public park and concert hall that still bear his name, Caird Park and Caird Hall. But he also gave significant sums to Dundee Royal Infirmary, and he was a life governor of University College Dundee. On his death in 1916, he left everything he owned to his sister, Emma Marriott, who then donated further money to Caird Hall and the adjacent Marriott Hall, and also the Royal Infirmary. It was after her death in 1927 that the well-known Dundee-born painter David Foggie, who lived from 1878 to 1948, was commissioned to create 2 sets of posthumous portraits of both Caird and his sister. One for Dundee Royal Infirmary, which is the set we have, and one for Caird Hall, where they still hang today. So this is unusual for a portrait in that the artist wasn't able to have the actual person sit for him, but instead had to make do with a photograph. So the composition, with this unusual side-on view, was already chosen for him, though he has altered the position of the arms, making Caird's left arm straighter in the painting. The photo also shows Caird wearing a rather loud patterned suit, covered in little concentric squares, which would have been a bit of a nightmare to paint. So instead, Foggie has just given him a plain suit of greeny-grey moss colour. But overall, this is an impressive and dignified portrait of one of Dundee's most influential citizens, presented not as a wealthy businessman, but as a dedicated scholar in a moment of quiet contemplation.